Hello and welcome to part 4 in our series on voice controls in gaming, Sprint. In the previous episodes, we discussed all the equipment you would need to get started and a brief introduction on how to set it up. In this episode, we will go over some tips and tricks that you may find useful when getting started with voice controls. There are many microphone options available to players. However, if you wish to use voice controls in a space that is not ideally quiet, a noise-cancelling microphone may help in order to filter out background noise and allow your commands to be heard with greater clarity. We would also recommend using headphones while playing if you wish to hear the game. This may help to ensure that the microphone does not pick up any of the voice acting from the game as voice commands. A combination of noise-cancelling microphone and headphones can often be found in gaming headsets. It is possible to train your PC to better understand your speech patterns. You may do this by going to Control Panel, Ease of Access, and Start Speech Recognition. From there, you may follow the instructions on the screen and Windows will adjust the microphone settings accordingly. Voice control software is often trying to decipher commands from regular speech. Because of this, it is recommended that you try to speak as calmly and clearly as you can while giving a command. Forwards. Stop. Dig trench. We would also recommend leaving some free space before and after commands to allow the software to correctly isolate the command word. Punch. Kick. Back kick. Grab. It is often encouraged to say your voice commands as though you are reading the news. It is important to note that saying commands louder or with more emotion is likely to make it harder for the software to understand you.
Let go. Rapid fire circle.
It is best to say the desired command in a calm, neutral tone. Some of the tips given here will be expanded upon in following episodes. When you are first trying out voice controls, we recommend keeping your first profile relatively simple. Jump. Some of the easiest commands to do are simple button press commands. For example, in the game Red Dead Redemption 2, you can open and close the menu by pressing the escape button. Let's see what this looks like in a profile. Here you can see one I've made earlier. It's relatively simple with only 4 commands. And here we have the one for menu. If I open it up, you can see the command is executed when I say menu. This presses the escape key, holds it down for 0.1 seconds, and then releases it again. Effectively, it presses the escape key. Let's see what that looks like in the game. Menu. Menu. This can be helpful for players who find accessing faraway buttons on a keyboard difficult. Another example of relatively simple commands you may wish to start out with are some basic movement commands. In our example profile, we have one for forwards, one for right, and one for stop. For this example, we'll be using forwards and stop. If we have a look at our forwards command, it says, when I say forwards, press down the W key. It is important to note that unlike our menu command, it does not say to release the W key. Effectively, what this command is saying is that it will continuously hold down the W key until it is told to stop. For this reason, it is important to also have a stop command, where, when I say the word stop, it will release the W key. Let's have a look at this in-game. Forwards. Stop. When holding down buttons, it is very important to have another command that also releases the buttons. When starting out with voice controls, it can become very important to understand exactly how games recognize different button inputs. To many of us who have not used voice controls before, pressing buttons in a video game may seem like a singular action. However, as shown by our previous examples, what is actually occurring is the events in our menu command. So to press a button, what actually happens is that you press the key down, hold it for a set amount of time, and then you release it. Technically, there are three separate actions occurring here. There is the pressing of the key down, waiting, and then releasing it. This can be important for certain commands such as movement. For example, we have our forwards command. In the case of forwards, it simply says press down the W key. If we were to say this command, our character would walk forwards indefinitely, since there is no command telling it to release the W key. This is why we have the stop command, which releases the W key. We also have this command for turning right. What you will notice is that I've accidentally put in the wrong type of command for the key, since what we would like is for our character to walk continuously right. However, what this command is currently saying is press the D key to turn our character to the right, hold it for 0.1 seconds, and then release it, effectively pressing the D key one time. Let's see what this looks like in the game. Right. As you can see, the character simply took one step to the right. If we would like the character to continuously walk to the right, we will have to make the following adjustments. We need this command to behave like our forwards command and have it hold down the key. So I'm going to quickly edit that now. Instead of having press and release, we'll simply have press. Following our rules from before, this will now hold the key down indefinitely, which means we also need a command telling it to release the D key. We can add one into the stop command so that the stop command can release both the W and the D key. So here we'll choose release key D. Here in our profile, we now have one command pressing down the D button and one that is releasing it. Let's look at this in the game. Right. Our character is now continuously walking to the right. Stop. And is being stopped by a stop command. Some games may recognize inputs in peculiar ways. It can be quite important to try your best to understand exactly how the game is recognizing certain button inputs. In certain situations, voice control software may pick up the wrong word. This can be due to heavy background noise, strong accents, speech difficulties, or simply that two words sound very similar. For example, here I'm trying to say the word knights. However, my voice control software is hearing the word knight, as in a medieval knight. One trick that may help if you find this happening to you is to go into your voice control commands and introduce the second false word to do the same command as the correct word. In this way, the voice control software, although hearing the incorrect word, will perform the correct and desired action. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it helpful. In the next episode, we will discuss how to get started with the GavPi voice control software. For additional information on using voice controls in gaming, you may wish to consider visiting the VoicedGaming YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.